Before we get started for the day, let's pick a saying. That was yesterday's. Today is a perfect day to just be happy. Sayitdisplayit.com. Check it out. Check it out. And now, today, I believe this is from the scripture. It is. I am with you and will watch over you wherever you go. That's the minis. Now from the 4x6 larger size. Yesterday's Look for Miracles. Faith 3. And today's message will be, dun-ta-da, yeah, live in the moment. That is from the Serene and Simple Life Travels collection. Let's get into our project for the day. Hope you'll join me. Serene and Simple Life. What you are looking at here is an organized mess. A mess of everything under the sun. This is kind of like your junk drawer, right? We are going to try to make some sense out of all of this today and make it more easily. And as I mentioned, some of you have already seen this all organized and some of you are new, so this is a first go round for you. But I don't know, I woke up today to get something and I was like, I don't care for how this is all put together. I have a huge, what you could call your junk drawer right here. Things that I very rarely use, but they are things that I do use. So that's all in there. And it was in this drawer. There was, I think I had 2 containers of pens on the bottom because I don't get to these very often. And then I had the junk container on top. And then alongside, just to give you a visual, because I've already taken this stuff out, I had cards and some washi tape. You know, these are really pretty that I like to decorate with. I've decorated, I don't know, journals, and I used to do canvas plaques and with sayings, and I decorated the plaques. So this isn't stuff that I want to pitch because I still like these colors. I've got one of those, what do you call this, Dymo to make labels, which I do need to use this to get some labeling done. And note cards, index cards, little journaling cards. Sometimes I enclose with a card, or at Christmas time for the kids or what have you. I'll put a little note on these. I've got stickers. I don't know, I put these on the outside of envelopes or inside the cards to the Grand Sweet Peas or to a friend sometimes. I've got a pretty old address book here, and I just don't want to pitch it. I don't know, my mom kept her address book till the end of time, and it's just kind of fun to go through this. I don't know, at some point I may let it go. I mean, I've got addresses in here from my son from 20 years ago, and they came in handy when he had to fill out something. So I was really happy that I was able to help him out by going to past addresses. So this was on the side, tucked in along the side of these containers, and just not handy, not useful. Here's a glue gun, some rubber bands, some clips. I've made little plaques with the sayings on them and clips. I may show you that project at some point if I get back to that. I've got ink pads. I've got 4 ink pads or ink stampers in here. And to me that doesn't make sense because this is just like, okay, that's real nice and neat, but it's taking up space too. So I may eliminate this and put this back in a plastic bag where it came from. I have a puzzle that my son gave me. It's a panda bear. It's adorable, but I don't know how to put it together. I don't know. He did it in like a couple minutes, but my brain just had a very hard time with this. And I may ask someone to help me put this back together and keep it together. Are y'all familiar with these? Look at this. This is like these little plastic pieces. And maybe it's not as hard as I'm making it out to be, I'm sure. But you kind of stack these, and I forget what this type of puzzle's called. And I love panda bears. So, you know, that's randomly in here. I don't want to tuck it away in a box and be like, okay, 10 years from now, you know. Okay, there's that puzzle. You know, I want to put it together. So it's in my drawer here. And then, what else? Oh, I guess I need to get these things back out. I like to have everything in front of me, just to give you some tips, and then, you know, you kind of work it out as you go. I do not have this thought through ahead of time. I just know that it can be much better than what it is now. I've got various size plastic bags. I use plastic bags over and over and over. I mean, I've had food in these, like bread, and then I shake out the crumbs, and I don't throw these out. So I very rarely buy these plastic bags. This is pretty well organized all on its own. Things that I use on a regular basis. Tape, scissors, highlighters. I love whiteout for some reason. I really like it. And I've got a box cutter, a couple markers, one pencil. On occasion, I like to write something with pencil. This is kind of random. Here, extra pens. And then I've also got a little tape measure. I find myself measuring things a lot, containers and things, to fit everything perfectly in this little tiny house, which is a mansion to me, by the way. But anyways, yeah, here's greeting cards. Cards that I've made, too, that I'm quite proud of. Sending sunshine and smiles. This was a card that I made years ago. A digital card. How beautiful is that? And then, yeah, this was from Creative Memories. I wrote on the back, Picture Perfect Cards by Linda, mycmsite.com/LIN. Of course, that's no longer. Here's another card that I made back in the day. Picture Perfect Cards is what I called it, by Linda. Live for today. Or learn from yesterday, live for today, and hope for tomorrow. Is that gorgeous or what? And then you write a little note in. Oh, may you feel happy today and experience much joy tomorrow. And I am telling you that this card is probably, let's see, I'm 63. I was with Creative Memories for 23 years. I've been out of Creative Memories for probably, I don't know, 10 years? Is it that long? I got into Creative Memories when I was 32. 32, 42, 52, 55. Wow, yeah. So about 8 years. This card is about at least 8 years old. But it's still appropriate, you know? And so I don't want to, this was another card I made. I had 50 cents put on this when I became a nomad. I was selling everything. And I did this with torn paper. So I guess I'm going off on a bunny trail here because I wanted to show you some of these ideas, I guess, that I made. I used to use the Cricut. I love the Cricut, and I sold it. I don't know, wish I hadn't sold it. Okay, but I made this with the Cricut. It says perfect. And then inside, for me. Perfect for me. If you give that to somebody you love, you're perfect for me. Oh, let's see. Let's look at one more. Or maybe two more. Go. And then inside. What's inside? Let it. Let it go. All right. I haven't looked at these in forever. These are pretty awesome. I also had made hundreds of these where I took a photograph and I matted it, and then I used little punches. This is all scrapbooking stuff, and put a little punch in the corner there so you could write notes. Yeah. All right, enough on the cards. You know, I want to know what this says too. On the outside, it says you. We used to have beautiful embellishments too. I'm sure you can still, scrapbooking is still a thing for many people. Do you scrapbook? And then it says you. And then inside, it's kind of like the way I reverse things. I love you. So fun. Anyways, so these need to be like in a place where I can just open up maybe a container and flip through them rather than pulling them out of this ugly plastic bag. I'm not sure. And I also have index books here. Put in the comments, how do you organize random things like this? Here is Post-its. I mean, I've got Post-its probably now to last me for the rest of my life. Like, I don't need any more Post-its. I love these with lines on them. Back in the day, I ordered these things to do pads, and I would give these away, I think, with, I don't know, things I did in my business. I like this. It says, take note. My daughter or mother may have given me this little pad. I really like it. Then I've got, this one's from Creative Memories. It says, huge thanks on it. So these are all in a plastic. I think that these work well inside this plastic. So we'll probably keep them in here. I'll put them back better in a minute. I have business envelopes and regular notebook paper that I cut these up now and use them as little scratch sheets when I'm working my videos, deciding on the titles and the descriptions and the thumbnails. So I cut these up into 4s, and then I work on one video at a time, obviously, to do the description, thumbnail, and title. Hope you read those because I do take time to put them together. All right, and then we've got, this is something that's kind of crazy, and I actually had 25 cents written on this. I had this in a 25-cent basket, money, rent receipts. Like I don't need this. But someday I just may need it to give a person a receipt. I don't know. This one's really dumb. And then I had, when I was doing yard sales, I had like a $1 bin, a $5 bin, 25 cents, 10 cents. And I color coded, like the green might have been 50 cents. I'm assuming, since this was 25 and this one's totally full, this was either 50 cents or $1. And I had that in a bin where you could just kind of root through it. People like to do that. And, you know, never sold it, obviously. And here it is. So I'm not planning on doing another yard sale, but they say never say never. I've just given tons of things away. I gave my TV away. I gave, just recently, I had a bifold door before I had the wood door hung. I had a bifold door on there, and I gave that away to Habitat for Humanity. So I'm not keeping things to have another yard sale, that's for sure. But anyways, the first thing I'm going to do now, these are all like cords, and more cords. These are some thumb drives of all my art and Say It, Display It, and my book, and all kinds of stuff in here. Probably even, I don't know if my first book is in here or not. No, I think that's on a CD. And then we've got one more random here to deal with, which is more little scrapbook stuff. These are like 3-dimensional sticky things, you know, to have like a raised pop on something, like I was talking about with my wood boxes. If you saw that video, how I could put a flower on there and have it raised, I would use one of these stickies if I just had the flower without the sticky. I've got restickable dots. These are 3M, and I used to sell these with the Say It, Display It cards, so this is another idea for you. These are restickable dots, but you can use these on stainless steel fridges to put your sayings on. How fun is that? I've got some large corners for photographs. And I don't, you know, and these are some little pockets, like, you know, back in the day in scrapbooking, put a lock of hair in here, or a dried flower, or coins, something. And I don't know, these are pretty random. I may need to, like, I probably tried selling those too, and they didn't sell. And I've got magnets in here. These came from those to-do lists, and they're just magnets that I may put a saying on it at some point. And you know, I do have some jewelry that I'd like to sell, so at some point I may jewelry, maybe put my books out. And I have I used to print off sayings from Facebook and laminate them and put magnets on them, and I've probably got a couple hundred or more of those sayings. I've sold tons of them. And yeah, so I'll probably do something random like that, make a few dollars, which is fun. I love to talk to people and bless them with the different sayings and those kind of things. So I've got some bracelets here that I'm thinking I'll use as a gift at some point for something. I don't know, I might get like a little SUV or something on these, and cars and like a charm, and give them away at a workshop or something. I'm not sure. And then these are stickies that I use for my dash. I've shown you these before. They have the little sayings or little stones and things that I picked up along the way on my nomad travels. They're sticky, and so I place these on my dash. So again, magnets, randoms, some stickers. You know, this is kind of stuff that I'm not gonna need to get to anytime soon, but it could be a little craft project. And I feel like if I have put all my crafts into one drawer versus an entire room, you know, some people have an entire room, my mom used to, then I'm doing pretty good here. I'm not letting my crafty things overwhelm me. I just watched a video recently about minimalism, and there are 3 areas that make people feel guilty and bog them down. And the first is clothing that we don't wear. And the second was, I forget what the second thing was. And then the third thing was memorabilia. The second thing was crafts. Yeah, just what I'm talking about right here. Crafts, oh, well, I spent good money on that. I don't want to throw it away. And then the third thing is memorabilia and cards and all that kind of stuff. So those are all areas that make us feel guilty. And I've worked through tons of that, especially the memorabilia. If you saw my shows probably a year or 2 ago, where I went through and I literally touched everything that from back when my daughter was 2 years old, my son was 6, you know, they're almost 4 years apart, 3.5. I would touch them and I would look at it and I would feel it and I would let it go, maybe take a picture of it. To this day, I don't even look at those pictures, but then I was able to toss it because I felt like, you know, they've got all their colored drawings and things that they did in school. I made beautiful scrapbooks for them of those things. And so I just didn't need to hold on to all that extra stuff. So that was a bunny trail there. But what I'm going to do is sort through, whether it be put things back in plastic bags, leave them in the plastic bags they're in. Very, very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to dump this. Ta-da! And see if I can't make better sense out of this rather than it just being a junk drawer. I've got this is for a fan. And I've got a couple corner rounders. Love corner rounders. I feel like, you know, if I ever had anybody come over, like especially my my grandkids, and they wanted to do some kind of crafts, that I would have a couple things to sit down and have fun with them. And I think that goes back from the day when my mom would sit down with my kids and they did crafts together, that I would truly enjoy doing that. And I have, you know, and I like to round corners. This is therapeutic. So I've got those in here. I've got little clipper things for jewelry, for wire. I've got too many of those little wrenches that come with the inexpensive furniture that I've put together. You know, I don't know what I'll do with those. I can't find the key to this really good lock, and I don't want to pitch it because I feel like then I'll find the key. So I have a couple punches here. I've got a big box of staples. I've got more Post-its. I don't need any more Post-its. I've got a deck of cards. My upline leader when I moved from Pennsylvania to California, she gave me a deck of cards that have California on them. I don't know. Will there come a day when I want to play solitaire with cards? Probably not. Will somebody come over and then say, hey, do you have a deck of cards? And, you know, and I don't have to say no. They're not taking up much space. They're just totally random. I have magnets in here, piece of wire. I've got way too many thumbtacks, but I love thumbtacks. They're golden white. These are clear. I use these on occasion, but I don't need this many. I only need like 5. I've got real big ones in here. It's just amazing, you know, what we collect. Here, these are these are actually magnets. And how sweet are they? They're all different colors. And then I have some of that putty stuff that you roll to stick things with. I've used this. I don't ever want to buy this again. I have a key that I don't know what it's to. So I've thrown a ton of keys away. I've got pens that need refills. One of you beautiful followers gave me this pen, and I need a refill for it, and I'm not sure where to go for it, so I'm certainly not going to throw it out. I still have to figure that out. What else? I've got price tag things on, you know. I don't want to buy those ever again. I've got another ancient corner rounder from Creative Memories. I've got wood tacks. I love these little, that they're made out of wood. I've got some glue here for the mattress that I have. I have a twin size mattress with patches. I've had to use this once. I've got paper clips, safety pins. I even have a couple diaper safety pins. I mean, I don't know. Will I ever use those again? Probably not. But this all, as you can see, and I just dug into this recently. I needed a hook for something, for my dustpan. So I've got this little baggie of hooks, you know, and I've got another box cutter. This one's really old and rusty. Maybe I should throw it out. I've got 4 candles here. Like, you know, I sold probably a box of candles for 25 cents. It's like, here's a thing to hold paper together. These are for my recent file folders that I bought. And here's a nice big paper clip thingy. I like office stuff. You know, this is kind of like my play office area. I've got these organized, these little zip ties here. And this is my little sewing area. And I've got another clip here. The sharper image. This was something that my son gave me years ago to put pictures in. And I never used it. Shame on me. It has a little USB thingy, small little, whatever that one's called. One huge white button. I don't know, will I use that for something? So I guess that's the extent of it in here. Another punch here. This one's like a little star or a heart. I can't see it. I've got these little hooks that I used on pegboards for shows. It's just kind of nuts, but the feeling that makes me not feel too bad about it, the feeling that makes me feel, yeah, is that it all came out of this little container. I just have to figure out if I keep all of this, or if I just like maybe keep 10 of these and put all of my thumbtacks in one. I know that's pretty anal, you know, because that's not much room. But not much room adds up to a lot of room. And that's the situation. That's the problem. This is bulging. So I want to put this into, this is sponges. I've done art with sponges. This is some more sponge brushes. This is the brushes the other day that I used in a project. I've got glitter that I have used on some of the Say It, Display It cards. Beautiful. I love glitter. So much fun. And again, this is like, do I have someone over that crafts with me? You know, and would have fun. These are, I love these little sponge brushes. So you're really a roller to, if you glue something. And then I've got these little trays here that I've used a million times with paint. When I was designing the Say It, Display It cards, more trays here. You've seen these several times in my videos. More little sponge brushes to make circulars with paint. Straws. I have done some art paint where you blow the paint out to make awesome streaks. And yeah, here's some, this is distress techniques for ink pads. I love this, making this distress stuff. So that's, oh, and here's little tags that came with the distress paints. So that's that, you know, one container, but you know, it's just, yeah, I've got my work cut out for me. So I think now that I've shown you everything, I will have to just think this through as I go. And here's 2 containers full of pens. I have way too many pens now. Like, I enjoy when I am putting together a greeting card to go in here and, you know, I like to dig through this and pick the perfect colors. But I've got these fine tips and round tips. And then I've also used these huge, like, chalk type markers. These are, yeah, chalk markers, Bistro chalk markers. I've used these for some of my art. Here's an erasable highlighter. Probably used that twice in my life. I love these Sharpies. I did artwork and some abstracts with these Sharpies. Do I use them every day? No. Have I used them in several years? No. I need to see if they're even still working. I love this big permanent size black marker for posters when you're at when you're doing yard sales. Not things you use every day. So this is the container with all the fat markers. I've had these in plastic bags, but they're not as fun to be able to see what you want to pick out when they're in plastic bags. You know, they're nice right here in these inexpensive dollar store type containers. So I may just leave them here, but I have to visually, this is how I organize. I pull out the mess, just like I did with, I hope you enjoyed that of the Lazy Susan in the pantry. I thought that turned out awesome, but I had to pull everything out and look at it and then put it all back. So that's what I'm gonna do now. And we'll be back at you probably, I don't know how long this is gonna take, an hour or more. Big old 3-hole puncher. I may only use this another 1 time in my life, but when I need it, that's where the catch-22 is. When I need it, I'm going to be happy I had it, but it's taking up a lot of room now. So there you have it. This was a dollar store purchase just recently, and next time I went back, like a week or 2 later, they were totally sold out of these. I got these in 3 different sizes. I love these. I love these baskets. I should have picked up a couple more. Anyways, that'll do her, and I'll show you when it's all back where it needs to be. Hours later, I'm excited and a little tired of organizing. Empty drawer, what do you think? Let's fill her up. The acrylic paints. I did a video recently on painting jewelry boxes. I hope you like that. Or go back and look for it. That's the first thing in the drawer. Second thing will be paintbrushes and the roller. And we've got some metallic and glitter and alcohol inks and the little pour thingies. That's next in line here. Snap, snap goes on top of the acrylic. Woo! I guess I'll have to show it to you at the end here. Then we decided to break down that container that was bulging that I showed you. Thanks for sticking with me and for watching the whole show. Hope you got some tips along the way. Here's all the sponges, the little round sponge thingy, cool straws, some other to make circular things, fun times, with or without somebody. So when I need my sponges and I'm painting rather than in a plastic bag, there'll be easy access in here. That goes in the back. Guess we could show you this way. How about that? Ta-da! And then we are going to take the 3-hole punch that we can't get rid of and put it on the bottom in case we ever need it again in this lifetime. Can't take it with you. We've got the trays, little paint trays. And on the bottom, I'm going to put all the hardware that I may make some little plaques. I had clippies on them and you could clip your saying onto them and I sold them at shows. I may do that again. That was fun. People loved them. The corner rounders, one for me, one for you, and one for somebody else. Then we've got the glue gun. Who knows when we'll need or use that, but we won't have to buy a new one. That's the idea. And I have 5 stampers and 2 ink pads. How many do you have? I know people in the past that probably have 100 or more. Right? Is that you? Are you willing to admit it? And the trusty tacky glue. My mom always loved tacky glue. Okay, organized. And my MO is always, even when I was in the SUV, living in the SUV, living in the car, the Acura, I would only like to remove one thing before I can get to the other thing. And that's the idea here. I always keep that in mind. I don't want to remove 5 things to get to something. So there you have it. It's the bottom drawer. And now I'll show you the top drawer. Oftentimes when I'm organizing, I think about containers I have that I may be using for something else, and I switch things around. And that's the case with this one. I had not shown you this one before. This has the stickers and the little journaling cards, the little sewing thing, the 3D things I was showing you, the tape, the washi tape, things like that. Showed you already, all the Post-its, anything that was in like a plastic bag. It's easy access. The patch stuff, the magnets. These magnets were on those to-do list things. And now I remember, I used to put a business card on these so you could hang it on your fridge. You can order those online, those to-do lists, and put your business card on top. And then here's the things that I use on the dash in the car. So I showed you all this earlier. It all fits very nicely in here and I can see it at a glance. That's the idea. So that goes in the back of the drawer because those are seldom used things, but yet still easy access. And then we have 2 of the same type of container. I like to match things so that they stack on top of one another. These are all the randoms that I showed you earlier, all the little push pins, and I don't know, I have a little pink stapler that I can't get rid of. A little pencil sharpener that works awesome from Creative Memories. The staples are in here. The extra box cutter, I don't want to throw that out. Because if I ever have 2 people that are, you know, doing something, or one is in one, like scissors, one in one part of the house, one in another part of the house. So it's not hurting anything to be in here. There's room for it. You know, I'm not like trying to squish it. So that goes on the bottom. And then on the top is all the little plastic bags of, well, it was empty, of push pins. Things that I already had. Nails, the magnets, safety pins, some ring binder thingies, all that little loose stuff that I showed you earlier. These are magnets. You hadn't seen those really close before. I know sometimes I don't get close enough. This little guy here, you know, all of that loose stuff, but yet, you know, handy when you need it. Those little hangers I showed you, and like this little metal thing. So anything that has to do with hanging, I think, or putting papers together is in here. smaller stuff in plastic. And then lastly, well, not quite lastly, is the pens. I'm going to leave them in these, and these both match also. So they will go along the other side. It's a little bit tight, but just really fits perfectly. So before I put the other stuff on top, let me show you. See? See how beautifully? 2 on each side and 1 in the back. Then we've got these pens. These are so nice because they stand upright. And so when you're using your pens, you're supposed to keep your pens upright, is what I was taught with Creative Memories. So I just can't get rid of these. And they're fun. I know I've got excess of pens. Then the little, I like to take notes, write sayings in these type of guys. So, you know, I have a couple, like even when I do a workshop, car workshop, I'm going to put notes in here so I don't have big pieces of paper. And as I go through, like maybe day 1, I'll list exactly what I'm going to be doing. So they're fun to have and throw in your purse for various type things. And then these rubber bands will go in the back. And yeah, everything fits really nicely. Actually, these guys are going to go along the side. So the only thing on top is the pens, but they're all on the one side. You gotta love it, right? And lastly, I changed out where in my office where I showed you that little container, I changed it out for this one. So I kind of swapped things so that I had 2 matching on each side in here. Not necessarily for looks, but for stacking purposes. I'm going to get rid of the address book. You're going to keep me accountable. I'm going to go through it, maybe nighttime, tired, early morning, just flip through it, and then I'm going to ditch it. I'm not going to keep this. At least, unless I tear the pages out and staple them all together and put them with some memorabilia. I don't know. And then I'm going to find houses for some of these things. I'm going to try to put this little puzzle together. If not, I'm going to put it in my car, and then maybe at a workshop or something, one of you will be able to help me put it together. But I'm going to give it a whirl again. This little smarter image, I'm going to see if it still works, and I'm going to use it. At least I'm going to try. Good intentions. These sales books, I'm just going to keep them, and I'm going to use them for future Creative Memories orders. Yeah, Creative Memories. Say it, display it orders. The cards, I'm going to find a new home for these. I don't know. And these are some weird things like the lock and that. So I'm just, a couple of these things. The pens, you know, I'm going to, that pen was handmade that I showed you. And I want to find a cartridge for it and start using these pens. I have a couple in here that say it, display it on them. I don't know if I can replace them or not. The candles are going to go in the kitchen. And these pens, I'm just going to find a place in my office for them. I have a couple drawers in my office that I showed you in the 5-part series on the tiny cabin also. So these things will find new homes. The label thing, I may end up putting it in the drawer here on top of this. Like it could sit right up top here. But for now, I'm going to leave it out because if I leave it out, I'll use it. And I want to do some labeling, I think. And then all the thumb drives and all the cords, the phone cords and stuff, I think I'll put this in with my laptop. I have a laptop, semi-laptop bag. I had like a gym bag or a backpack that I used for my laptop. I may put them in there for the time being. And I decided that I'm going to either give away or maybe sell some of these cards. I had 50 cents on some of those I showed you. So that's what I'm going to do. When I set out my jewelry, I may set out my cards too and just have some fun with it. You know, it's not necessarily about the money. It's just about sharing with other people and making them smile and, you know, 50 cents. And if they don't have 50 cents, they can take the card. Seriously, I'm at that point. Well, that's it for today. I know this was rather long. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got some tips of your own on how you can clean out your junk drawer and just have fun with all your stuff. And, you know, how you start out with a mess and how it ends up to be totally neat. So with that, blessings in your day and joy in all of your crafts and junk.